Everything's spick and span. Nothing left to do, really.
Empty. Empty.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. But who? There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. The good ship Merryweather. But you can stand at ease there, Private. You do realize you're not in the army here, don't you?
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
Who?
Alexander, grant me patience. What?
ようものですな。でもやりやすいやつ、サングラスで笑顔。
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you
Yes,
Good God. There's been a murder here.
I need to write to headquarters right away.
The pale young woman doesn't acknowledge you. She nods to the right. The pale young woman doesn't acknowledge... Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
No lesions, no trauma. It was bled by magic.
Aren't you enterprising? I'll let Waters tell you no herself. Go ahead. She with the body. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
The pale young woman doesn't acknowledge you. She nods to the right without moving her gaze from the ground.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwoken followed the source that did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you see the evidence in front of you. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this before they hurt anyone else. So, anything interesting for me? indications of a struggle.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
Sing us a song, I know you can.
That's enough now.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad? Insufferable? Surely. What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
We'll hang you right over the side of the
An
ship.
elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner, aren't we?
We'll hang you right over the side of the ship with it.
The woman keeps rolling her dice.
It was one of them. I know it.
The woman keeps rolling her dice. She pays you no further notice.
We're like cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on. One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely. What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Got this wolf unleashed.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
It was one of them. I know it. Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate. They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on. One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad? No. Insufferable?
The woman
Surely.
keeps rolling her dice.
What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer. I'm better though. Listen. La 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 la. What's your job? You look like a magic maker. Like me. But maybe not so strong.
Ah,
There you are, wife. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
One of us will kill our own, then picking us off one by one. We just skipped to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play... You take care, though. Nope. Trying not to find anything out, either. Ignorant...
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into... As quickly as they came, the clouds clear.
Good luck, Chief. Take it easy, Chief. You don't want to get noticed for the wrong...
You're a human, like me. That means we're friends already. My mum told me not to make friends with lizards and elves and dwarves and stuff.
I forgot how...
But
I did.
Be careful! Someone died?
Classify this slop as food. I've seen
Wow! You look cool. Hi. Do you like to play ball? We like to play ball.
What's your job? You look like a magic maker. Like me!
do away with the custom.
There has been a murder.
Name?
Don't you get saucy with me. You clearly don't know the first thing about
The Divine Order wants to know. Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
One of us will kill our own, then picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I...
It is simultaneously too detailed and... Tell me, what do you know of our world's history?
Insufferable, surely. What are you trying to hear anyway?
Oh, please. I have no interest in... No. I want to know about... This text tells me that they created all creatures. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
You should be a little more afraid. There's a killer about, after all.
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he...
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. Now, please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off...
You mind? I'm really rather bit...
Here's the register, ma'am. Good, good. You faring okay so far?
One of us will kill our own, then picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and...
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
I'm sorry you're upset, ma'am, but we all... You head on in now. Well,
Insufferable.
take care of yourself. Take care of yourself now.
Keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
You one of them? A Divine Order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake. I didn't do nothing, okay? It was one of
them. I know it. Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed. He raises an eyebrow as you approach.
Listen up, Ghetto. You hear that?
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make.
The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligent...
And?
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned. More appetite.
A common sort of sound, isn't it? Well, that's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of...
There! You heard it, didn't you? I knew it! I knew it! Aye, this is good news, Ghetto. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Pardon my beard. That means if we've been travelling for... Yes! Only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy! Captain, actually. And that figure tells me we're getting close to the Joy.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard. Gold medallions...
That'll be all. Thank ye kindly, Ghetto.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right. I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest.
He continues stroking his beard. A bit...
Like wolves around a campfire.
If you'll be pardoning me, I'll be much up...
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
The lizard looks you up and down. Like a fox. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime... Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
What are you trying to hear anyway?
Ah, music to my beleaguered stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
You'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate... the very basics, then. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions... As per your own testimony, you can cook, tailor, and brew. Well, that just about settles it. I offer you
こんばんは。キャラ、お久しぶりかな。考えるかを。
You are my slave.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own.
My slave, of course. Oh, but anyway, you may leave me for a moment.
お久しぶりです。
When I want you to attend me, I'll whistle. Until then, go stand in a discreet corner somewhere, will you?
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
ちまちま楽しんでる垂れ流しですが、キャラ。
I'll whisper.
I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you?
I spent my life singing for my slave. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat.
Insufferable, surely.
Like I said, you aren't on the list.
Trying to hear anyway.
Who we are, what we've done.
If you've been quiet long enough for me to listen.
Keep those bubbles trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem there, Jofferson. What on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul. I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
She got eaten by a void woken.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a...
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. Ifan seems amused at the gesture, but he bats your arm down from the salute.
You served?
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Me too. A long, long time ago now. Long before Source became a reason to leash us like...
He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses up.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his...
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger. Ifan raises his eyebrows, but shakes his...
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Keep those bolts trained on her. And
Never
if she
thought you'd
tries
end
to
up in
run,
prison,
shoot to kill.
That right?
You seem there, Jofferson. What on earth is the matter?
Your kind always hung
Murder
closest
most
to
foul.
our line.
I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're
You've got this wolf on
absolutely
a
right.
leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking Magisters.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the...
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God! You there, sorcerer! Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, then.
She reaches for her collar and simply...
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will...
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor. His...
What happened? Must have been the turnips. You dare...
The lizard's eyes close as he... You shake the lizard by the shoulders. Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground like an animal. His eyes flicker open.
Lucien?
Ifan cries out. Then... Ifan lies motionless. His eyes... Ifan cries...
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
It's no use. Your words...
The dice roll darkly.
The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing. She doesn't stir. The Magister lies on the floor.
Snaps into splinters. Damn, that doesn't go well. Onwards and upwards. God damn it! Need to get off this wreck, and quick!
ちゃんこパス。はい。
But a fine grace, what was...
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a...
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Like you don't know?
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Rix. Take out your...
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand. The Magisters look to each other. Then...
Your lies... Ah!
And you thought Rivellon was flat.
Bishop Alexander. If Lucian were alive, what would he think of his son's divine order?
You pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia.
No! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulp? It catches fire, it turns into...
The skeleton looks up.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back.
Yes, indeed. It's the look. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands.
The skeleton holds up his book in one quick, frustrating...
I am trying to discover if there is any... And I will be damned if I let the lives of some... Go on, go. Swim or drown or do... Please, my time is short, although...
Great gods! Something's pounding on the hull!
The marking on the door was painted recently. You press your palm against the door to open it. The moment you touch the door, it doesn't budge. The door groans open.
Something's breaking through! What the hell are those things? I need to get out of here now! Death fog? I need to get out of here now!
means there's still a chance.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old story.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes.
Said there were other people down there.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Thank you! There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight down.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear? Had to open your big mouth.
If you can walk, get yourself up. Wait! Voidwoken!
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch. Worms take you.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
Let the games begin.
I've faced worse.
They who are about to triumph salute.
Greet the Reaper for me.
Let's head above decks for some air.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
Those Voidwoken made short bloody work of the ship. Am I the lone survivor?
It seems someone, something, wanted me alive.
Moon. Moon.「誰を仲間にするか決めないと」
I thought the Order would get rid of any trace of the old Source King.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles.
I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. Why? But are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child looks at you straight on, unafraid, searching your face. He lifts his mirror to his nose, closes one eye, and looks at himself again.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong or crazy. No one cares where I go. They know I can't leave the island. It's nicer out here than inside, anyway. They're gone now. Their Magisters took them already. I guess now they're cured. And maybe they're waiting for me back at home. But you didn't die. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what you'll see. I guess I am, but you can stay out here with me if you... You can stay out here with me if you want. You don't seem that scary.
Voidwoken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they made it to shore. These bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. Drowned and eaten by a Voidwoken. I wonder in which order.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that...
I did survive, yes. And chances are I wouldn't have, had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers down in that dreadful hold. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we? Nevertheless, one good turn does deserve another, so as far as the whole slave business is concerned, let's just forget about it. You may as well have your freedom. Now then, if there's nothing further... I'm sure I don't mean to sound condescending, but I had thought it quite self-evident I was gazing out over the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Memories. Quite so.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see continents dotted with mighty cities, and shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Of course, it's rather specific. Quite obviously, I'm musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? Oh, may the Seven have mercy on their own creation. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunity. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship, after all. Fine, I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, as a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Do not take my elegance as a mask for frailty. My blows shatter shields, and my thrusts pierce armor. If a warrior you need, the warrior you'll have. I offered the perfection of the blade, and you seek the perfection of the blade. Very well. Onwards, then, to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling... As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage. So, of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind. Yes. Is it an audience you desire? As am I. A prince should die of old age or on the battlefield. That said, I've the distinct feeling I wasn't meant to die today. For despite your heroic, there was something in the water. A voice made of air that soothed my flooding lungs. There was sudden light, warmth. Truly, how intriguing. To hear a voice whilst drowning is a rather specific delusion to share. Still, I wonder if...
He hesitates.
Are you a religious person? A pity. Religious persons tend to be all too self-important in their supposed humility.
You spot a strange... Yes, you reckon the lizard turn...
I did survive. You have...
Hand over heart, he salutes...
Yes, I'm sure. Nevertheless, now then, if there's nothing further, I'm sure I...
He sighs.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your memories?
He looks out.
As for my... I see continents. What do you mean? What do I mean? I mean...
Suddenly, having...
Well, don't just stand there gawking. Oh, Of course.
There's a brief...
That said, the grandeur that is my... Truly. Fine. On what? For reasons I've reason to believe one jolly good. So now that even if you are as a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade, my... Do not take... I offered very well.
The Red Prince nods.
Now, as your luck, of course there are other... Yes, by all means, let us partake in the... As am I. That said, but there was something in them, truly. Still.
He hesitates.
Are you a religious person? I'm rather relieved to hear it. Religious persons tend to be all too self-important in their supposed humility. As for myself, I perform the ancient rites of prayer and ceremony with a... After all, when one is revered by many as a living god oneself, public deprecation would be needlessly self-important as well, wouldn't you say? Deplorable surrounding for an agreeable conversation, but go ahead. There isn't much to say. It's the portent of it all. I can feel it. The revelation will be... And justified it is too. As certain as the sun, such is my conviction. I will be. There was a small incident which prompted my many rivals to move against me. Such a nuisance, the law. Quite necessary to keep the common in line, of course, but one such as myself it should exempt as a matter of course. What I meant was that being authority. Sadly, that enlightened point of view quite clearly turned out to be academic. If not, we wouldn't be having this very conversation. I hardly know you as yet. Let's leave some mystery in the relationship, shall we? I intend to rule an empire one day, not a tiny... To that end, I suggest we focus... Of course, I'd much appreciate it if we managed to find...
眠くなってきた。